up?
Yes,
How you guys doing?
baby, my God.
Get robbed.
Come on. So we got.
Let me say this. You know, to be on with like three of my favorite people in Detroit, and we all know that. First of all, Ryan,
he's lying already, but go ahead.
Ryan works way too hard. I can't believe how hard this guy works, and is so good at what he does. Maz, we know
Thanks,
Maz,
Rob.
world producer, and you know, has been around forever and makes everybody better. And Terry, who I want you guys to know, when I first came to Detroit in 1993 to be a columnist at the Free Press, Terry reached out to me, showed me around town, all that. So all three of you guys mean a lot to me. So it's great
Thanks,
to be
Rob.
All right,
We
Rob,
love you
we
too.
love you, man.
And Rob, let me praise heap some praise on Rob. When I was sick about 5 years ago, there's two people in the media that I really heard a lot from. It was Rob and Wojo.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the guys that reach out the most. And Rob was like, every day, you all right? You're going to be good? What's happening? And everything. I said, I think I'm going to be good. Not quite sure. But Rob, you came through. And you need people. You need just to talk to somebody. And I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, that it's always, I always say this, it's always easy when life is good to be friends with somebody. It's when things are bad, actually, when you need friends the most.
And
So
you know who your friends are real quick when things are not going well
doubt.
for you, right?
No doubt about it. So all good. You see, I'm wearing my the Columbia Sea hat.
The Lions.
I just noticed that.
I figured since I went to a school with a bad football team, this would be apropos for Michigan and the Lions.
Both Lions teams, too, right? Both Lions.
Yes.
Rob, it's so good to have you on with us today. I'm sorry Braylon's not here. He's got a wisdom tooth situation, but I know he's a huge fan of yours, and we'll get you back on when he's with us too. But I wanted to ask you first and foremost get to some NFL stuff with the news of the day that Cam Newton has re-signed with the Carolina Panthers. The impact that he can have with Carolina, Rob, is what?
I mean, he gets a quarterback that we know was at one time a Super Bowl quarterback and an MVP. Obviously, he's not at that level, but I'm not so sure. Last year, he started off pretty well with the Patriots, got COVID, never really bounced back. And this is a chance. He's been off for a while to finally get that arm right. So an experienced guy who can help them if he has something left in the table, left in the tank, and I think he does. It's also pretty amazing that he wound up going back. Maybe it's because he had no other options. But, you know, sometimes in life, you know, you got to go backwards and go back to a place where they didn't want him and try to refigure it out. And maybe it could rejuvenate his career. He's not an old guy. And when you see Tom Brady and people like that still playing, this could be a chance if he plays pretty well at this stretch. Maybe he gets another opportunity somewhere else.
Yeah, but you know, they always say in professional sports you can't go home. You can't go back home, particularly for coaches. But can a player do that? That's going to be the real difficult thing right there, because he's going to be really scrutinized in Carolina.
There's no doubt, but I think he wants to play football, and here's his opportunity. You know, we're at the halfway point of the season, so I think he probably just said, I would rather play somewhere and get some time in than to sit out the entire year. So I do understand why he was willing to go back to Carolina.
Hey, they giving him $10 million, almost $5 million guaranteed. They're a playoff team right now. It's them or Atlanta that could be the 7 or 8 team in the NFC. He's got a good team. McCaffrey comes back. And Sam Darnold, you know, with the broken shoulder blade, he wasn't doing anything anyway. They give up 3 draft picks to the Jets for him. Those picks are looking good for the Jets right now. It's looking like Sam can't play quarterback in the NFL. I think he's in a great spot.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. It's not like you're going to the Lions or something. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
No.
Hey, Rob, what would you rather have, a salad filled with rusty nails that you have to eat, or Jared Goff?
You know what? As I know Jared Goff, the year hasn't been good, but you know what's crazy is if you look at the numbers between what Matthew Stafford's doing this
Oh, here we
year
go.
and what Jared Goff did in the year they went to the Super Bowl, let me tell you, Jared Goff's numbers are identical. I mean, nobody would believe that, but that team through the first nine games was 8-1. Stafford 7-2. Stafford has like 2,700 15 yards. Jared Goff had 2,700 on the nose. Jared Goff had 20 touchdowns and 6 picks. Matthew Stafford has 23 touchdowns and 6 picks. So it ain't that big of a difference. I know people think Stafford is the Messiah and he's going to lead them to the championship. I'll believe it when I see it. And let's not let Matt off the hook. He's got to win a Super Bowl in L.A. in order for this all to make sense. If he doesn't, he's no better. They went to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff.
Hey, Rob, all our people on YouTube are asking me, get Rob to say Pat Stafford. Talk about Pat Stafford. What do you got to say about Pat Stafford? I think you just said it.
Well, yeah. I mean, they always stat Patford. And, you know, that name fits. Everybody knows that name fits because we saw him for, 12 years, down 15, 21 points, piling up the stats at the end, make the game look decent. And all those stats. I was coming up. I'm going to admit this. I had a website ready to go before this trade to the Rams, and I was going to do a thing called the Stat Padford Index. Come up with a number and how you figure it out. And everybody, the way you would have quarterback rating, you would have a Stat Padford number. That if you were down by more than 2 touchdowns with less than 10 minutes to go or 8 minutes to go, all the numbers that you accumulate after that, they wouldn't count to your numbers.
Don't count. Talking to the great Rob
That's
Parker, Fox Sports, Fox Sports 1, Fox Sports Radio, Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker, MLBBro.com. Rob, you got your hand in everything. Now that you're out there in Los Angeles, we were talking earlier about how irrelevant the Lions are nationally. Last night, the Pistons were on ESPN, and Jeff Van Gundy was ripping on the Lions, saying they should go to NFL Europe and give us the team from Munich. We'd have a better job doing that. What is the national perception of the Detroit Lions? And do you get, second part of that question, do you get a little sick to your stomach because you watched Stafford for 12 years here to see all this national, like almost just lather up the Stafford love? Do you get a little sick to your stomach with all that stuff?
I've thrown up in my mouth, Ryan, a few times because they really make it like he's the Messiah. And look, Stafford put up great numbers. If you just looked at his numbers, you would think this guy's a Hall of Fame quarterback. But we know that there are very few wins against good teams. There were a couple of years when he had a chance. People always talk about he didn't have anybody. They had the 5th best defense in 2015 when they lost that playoff game to the Cowboys. So that was a team. There was another year where they had a chance. I think it was that same year they had a chance to beat the Packers in the last game of the year, which would have given them the division, a home playoff game, and a bye. They lost that game. So there were a few moments where Stafford could have made a difference. And I think that's what I look at, is that there have been years when Aaron Rodgers hasn't had a defense and their defense is giving up 40 points, but he still finds a way to win some games. And Stafford was never able to do that. And I think that's the glaring thing to me that tells me I'm not going to be convinced that he can win you a Super Bowl until he actually does it. And all the Rams fans, they all got their eggs in this basket. And I'll believe it when I see it. But I do not believe that they're winning the Super Bowl. Definitely not this year.
Rob, we're going to have Lynn Hennig on in the 3 o'clock hour talking Tigers baseball. So between you, Lynn, and Terry today, I feel like this is Detroit News Old Home Week here.
No doubt about it, man. I spent 9 years there. Terry, how many years did you work at the News?
I was there for 26 years.
Wow. Wow, unbelievable.
I should get O'Hara on too.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Rob, I want to stick with the NFL if I could with you. Odell Beckham Jr. Clears waivers. He's choosing between 8 teams, probably choosing between more like 3. What is the best fit for Odell Beckham Jr.? What is the best fit, and where do you think he will end up?
I think the best fit is Green Bay, and I really do. I think he's been crying to work with with the all-time great quarterback. Aaron Rodgers isn't the most accomplished quarterback. That's Tom Brady, okay? Because he's won all these things and has all this other 7 Super Bowls. But skill set, I think Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback I've ever seen. I'm just talking about skill set. Strong arm, touch, doesn't turn the ball over, can run for a first down. What can he do? He has the best touchdown to of the NFL. He also has the best quarterback rating of any quarterback who ever played in the league. So that's the kind of guy you want to team up with. And if he can be a missing link or an X factor and say get the Packers to the Super Bowl or win a championship and have some big numbers or some big touchdowns or big plays with Aaron Rodgers, I think that works to his advantage as far as his future in the NFL. Again, he's not that old, but he's been hurt the last few years, so he needs to go somewhere where he can have some success and people think of him as a winner. If you go to New Orleans, where they don't even really have a quarterback, I know that's home for him. He's from Louisiana, but I don't think that's the right place because he'll have the same issue that he had with Eli and the Giants at the end where he complained about the quarterbacking and in Cleveland. So I don't think that's a good spot. And then the other one is Kansas City, and they're trending down. And Patrick Mahomes isn't the same guy from the last couple of years. So I think Green Bay's the right choice. I really do.
Yeah, not that he would come here, but Rob, how long would it take for the old man to come up with a video on Jared Goff if he signed with the Detroit Lions? 15 minutes?
Yeah,
One day?
I think so about that.
Hey, Rob, you mentioned the Packers. What do you make of Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers and that whole situation over the last week and a half? And how quickly after they start winning games does this story go away?
Yeah, I mean, it will subside. I mean, Aaron really made a mess of it. Just admit it. Just be Kyrie. Just be Lamar Jackson. Just be Kirk Cousins, right? All these guys said that they weren't getting the vaccine. And, you know, it's a story for one day and people move on and make sure you follow the protocol. That's all you had to do. When you mislead people, when you lie, when you stretch the truth, that's when it comes back. It's always the cover-up. So Aaron Rodgers put himself through unnecessary harm's way as far as the way people look at you. And once you've done that, and I'm talking about, you know, lie to people and whatnot, I don't know if you can always come back and get your reputation or have people trust you. And you want like this is just me. I think if he ever really wanted that Jeopardy job, I think that hurt him as far as likability and people, you know what I mean, wanting him to have that job if that was ever open again down the road for him. I think that hurt him.
See, I don't think Aaron Rodgers has really been in tune with the Green Bay Packers for a while. You know, obviously he had this rough offseason. But the other thing with him, this is what I like about sports. People lie, they mislead people, and then when it comes out, it's everybody else's fault. That's what he tried to pull.
No, he did try to pull that. And the only thing I will say, Terry, is I thought this had been, other than the opener, which was a stinker, he had been playing well. They had won 7 games in a row. You remember the 37 seconds left. He pulled that game out in San Francisco. Then they go to the desert in Arizona. They were 7-0. They beat an undefeated team without his top 3 wide receivers. He's animated on the side. He's jumping around. He's excited. I thought there was some mending that went on with Green Bay and him, and that there was a chance that the Packers could come to him at the end of the year and say, we're trading Jordan Love, and we're going to commit to you for the next 3 years, give him fresh new money to his deal, and have him finish his career as a Packer. We saw Jordan Love the other day. Are you convinced that he's going to be a star quarterback in the league? I know it was only one game, but I don't think so.
Hey, Rob, let's talk about our favorite sport, baseball. The Braves were a great story. Win 88 games, make those great trades at the deadline, and they win a World Series. A GM, have you ever seen a GM pull off what that guy pulled off?
Oh, I thought it was like Dave Dombrowski. Oh, I'm sorry, that's a mistake.
Exactly. Wrong one. No bullpen. How about Carlos Correa,
No, I
man?
know.
Tell us. Is Carlos coming to Detroit?
He's going to get paid. There's going to be a market for him. And, you got A.J. Hinch sitting there, maybe, right? Maybe. It's all about the loot, though. You know that. It's got to be about the money. But, yeah, the Braves were a great story. I did pick them to win in 6 games. I was hoping that maybe Dusty Baker could get a World Series because he has been a great manager for a long time. He's taken 5 different franchises to the winning a division.
First
Nobody
manager
else has
ever to do
done
that. Yeah, right, exactly.
Right. But he needed a World Series, and it's not over for him, obviously. But at 72, that was a great chance for him to get a World Series. But the Braves story was incredible. When you're missing your best player and you're able to rally and win a World Series the way that they did. I was in Atlanta for a few of the World Series games, and it was awesome. The atmosphere was great. The fans, have been through a lot. That's why they call it Choke Atlanta, but I officially took the tag off of them after this World Series.
Hey, how can they make the game better for the young kids? Can they start these games earlier? I mean, the kids can't watch these games. They're going to 12:30 at night. Dusty Baker, I think he changed 20 pitchers in one game. It's too much. Even for me, it's just too much.
Maz, I hear you, and it's the same age-old argument. Baseball works with the networks. They want the games on at that time. They're the ones who legislate. Ryan, you know this. Television calls the shots, and they want the games on late. That's when they want the games on because they're trying to reach a demographic. Baseball's making a gazillion dollars from television, and so I just don't see that as being the case. This is not when we were kids and we used to run home from school to watch a World Series game start at 4 o'clock. I mean, those days are long gone.
I do think,
dude, we used to watch it in class.
Yeah.
We mean run home. We watch it in class, brother.
Rob, the thing with these networks, though, too, now is that I just can't get past is everybody is doing it a little bit different these days. The only thing people watch live these days is sports and news. So you could put these games on whenever you want, and people are going to watch them. In the world of the DVR, in the world of remote working, where most of the workforce seems like they're working from home anyway. I mean, you could have these games on earlier. I don't understand what the benefit is to keeping them on through midnight.
Well, here's the difference. Rob is out on the West Coast, right?
Exactly.
And that's the crutch right there.
Yeah.
Ryan, Terry, 100% is that, yes, when you're on the East Coast, you feel like that. But if you start the World Series game at 7 o'clock, people on the West Coast, it's 4 o'clock. They're at work.
You don't go to games anyway. West Coast people don't go to games anyway. Come on,
it
man.
takes West Coast people. It takes them 2 hours to get home.
I know.
So by the time they get home, the game will be done.
You get there in the 4th, you leave in the 7th.
Well, and I know you're out there in California, so close your ears. But 80% of the country lives in the Eastern and the Central time zone. So I mean,
who cares about the Pacific?
I get it. But the number 2 city is Los Angeles.
Yeah,
I know.
No, you're right.
They can't do it. I'm telling you, like it is. If you remember years back, they moved Monday Night Football at 8 o'clock.
Yes,
You remember
I love that.
It's on at 9. Yep.
Loved
All right, but that was 5 o'clock West Coast, and it only lasted for a year or two, and there were too many complaints, and the numbers, went down because they lost a lot of people who couldn't watch. So they tried that before. I remember it.
But it's 8:30 now. It's 8:30 now. The game starts at 8:20 or 8:30. No. It still starts at the 8 o'clock hour.
8:20 though.
Yeah,
8:20 instead of 8. So they moved it up. They moved
Using
the kickoff.
compromise.
They did move the kickoff up about 20 minutes because it was 8 and then it goes to 8:20. Hey Rob, man, we're so happy for your success, man. We miss you so much over here. We love you. We miss you. And tell Skip and Shannon and Chris and all those guys we said hello.
No doubt. And as you know, Detroit has a fond spot in my heart, and spent 20 years there, got married there, got divorced there. I worked for every media outlet possible. And I want you guys to know that next October, October 22, celebrating the 20th anniversary of my barbershop, Sporty Cuts. on
Sporty
7
Cuts,
Mile Road.
baby. Yes.
20 years.
Get out of here. Sporty
Unbelievable.
Cuts, man.
Unbelievable.
We'll have a big party.
Get robbed, man, and say hi to Joy Taylor for us.
Oh, we love Joy Taylor.
Be good.
MLBBro.com,
All right, guys.
Fox Sports, Fox Sports 1, Fox Sports Radio, Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker. We love them so much. Rob Parker, all the best, my friend.
All right, guys. Thank you. Have a great day.
You
All right,
got
we'll see
it.
ya.
All right, guys.